Let's take it to the course. Start the round. And you smoked that.
Yeah, hit it nice. Let's see.
What are you thinking?
212, 5 iron.
Yeah.
Should be perfect.
Yeah, good swing.
Yeah, that'll work. 336 off the tee.
Whoa.
Told you I hit it hard.
Bucket.
Never a doubt.
Right, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? That was pretty good. There they are, all done. What did that take? 5 minutes? And you leave these on forever now, I'm assuming. You know, when you buy the system, you just leave them on, you don't have to do anything with them. And they're waterproof, are they? Good. It's always raining in the UK. Yeah. And they feel fine. They have got batteries in them, but you don't need to change them for a long time. Because they turn off and on. As you put them in the bag, it goes dark. And then the battery turns off, and when you bring it, is that right? And then when it comes back out again, they're activated. Right, well, we'll give it a go. Okay, so that was 15 weeks ago, 25 rounds, and I'm going to try and do not an in-depth review, because I don't think anybody's that necessarily interested. I'm just going to overview some of the features of collecting stats and the importance of collecting stats, and some of the features of Arccos, which I had the game golf for one season. That was last season, and this season I've been using this Arccos system with these slightly larger bits on the end, and I'll just give you an idea of what it's like to kind of live with it, if you like, and what benefits it brings. So as a very quick, I don't want to go on so much about the game golf one because I've used it last season. I feel like I've moved on, but it is a good system and it's got its benefits. It's the actual tags in the top are very small. They're not battery powered, but the big drawback is that you've got this thing to clip on your belt that you have to tag each time. And for me, I really did give it a good go, and I did play probably 30 rounds using this system, and the statistics was really informative, and I enjoyed that side of it, which inspired me to take a look at the Arccos system, which I think is an improvement. But this system is very good. It's a bit cheaper as well if you want to just kind of get into it. It's quite a good system to go for, but like I said, I kept forgetting to bleep them, so it ended up probably not so good for me. Is Ricky using them? Of course he's not, but he is using a system that does track all of his statistics, which is what we do need, and his system is some little bods going around writing down all his everywhere he hits it and all his yardages. So in theory he is using a statistic method, just not this one. He doesn't need it, but we do, because we don't have a little bod going around making little yardages for us. So it's very important for us, as important as it is for Ricky. So, you know, there's a bit of fun, bit of tongue-in-cheek there, but it does highlight that those stats are absolutely crucial and that we need them. So who does this system benefit? I think everybody. If you're keen on improvement, it's absolutely vital to know as much as you can about your golf. But in the past, you know, you can go to dry ball data, you can go to your professional and find out your club head speed and your angle of attack and your spin numbers, but you don't get those under competition tension and stress, and that's when we want to know them the most. I mean, that is when we have 160 yards, maybe over some water, and we want to know our best chance of hitting that green or carrying that water under those conditions. Now, that's the most important thing. The tour pros don't need it at all. I mean, it's they've got somebody doing everything for them, but we don't. And so we want to make it as simple as possible to collect that information and then have a look at it. I mean, wouldn't it be great if somebody could come up to you and say 190 yards over water into a green, under competition nerves and pressures, and somebody could come up to you and say, this is the club that will get you to the green 75 to 90% of the time. I mean, that just give yourself such a good feeling about hitting the shot, and it will give you the best chance of hitting that good shot. Having that mental strength, knowing that it is percentagely, under those conditions, the right shot to hit. And this is what stats can do for you. I mean, they can give you that peace of mind knowing exactly. I guarantee most players, from probably about maybe 5 or 6 handicap right up to sort of 28 and on, don't really have a good idea, a true understanding of their golf and their habits in golf. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I was playing off scratch, and I didn't realise that 98% of my 7-irons into greens, 98% finished left of the flagstick. I mean, that was just ridiculous. That's a 2% miss on one side. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to do the same thing, but it was really good for me because I could go into a competition. I've got a par 3. Let's just say I've got a 7-iron in. There's water and bushes and trouble all down the right. Now I can stand there knowing that only 2% is possible, but just 2% would go right and into the trouble. I mean, it was an amazing peace of mind, kind of revelation for me almost. I mean, I kind of knew my shot shapes and I kind of knew my distances, but those sort of habits, and also collecting data like your up and down rate, for instance, around the green, or your or sometimes you might even hit your 3-wood longer than your driver because you don't strike your driver very well, and the 3-wood just goes further. So under that kind of tension, and you really do want a consistent, nice shot down the middle as far as you can get it. Sometimes it's a 3-wood perhaps, and that information is really important to know because you could maybe improve your driving, you could work on your driving a bit more, but it highlights those kind of problems that we might have in our game. There are weaknesses, and they could be big weaknesses, you know. The other amazing part is this information that you get is tells you sometimes that maybe the course you're playing you don't need to hit a 4-iron ever, because you look at your shots over 20 rounds, say, and it tells you that you've only hit a 4-iron 3 times. Well, there's absolutely no point going onto the range and practicing 4-irons all day. You know, work on where is the best parts of your game and the best parts of the club that you're playing at. So you can imagine once you've got this data, real data. I mean, it's absolutely true. It's you know, it's not a fluke. It's exactly what you do under those situations. You can then work with your professional, your coach, or just on your own on improving those sections. And that information is so good if you're having lessons to give to your coach. And the coach can then just look at this information and work on your game and highlight those areas and try and work on those areas. It's perfect for non-wasting time. So I found in competition play or just general play, the system is really amazing. I mean, you do just forget about it and play. There's a couple of downsides. You do have to have your phone in your front left pocket. But to be honest with you, I didn't find, once I got used to it, it was no big deal for me because I was always pulling my phone out of my pocket anyway to check the distance to, you know, maybe to a bunker or wherever. So it was in and out of my pocket all the time anyway. So I didn't really want it anywhere, like clipped to my bag, you know, because I'm walking about all the time anyways. So that didn't really affect me. The little rubber bungees, for me, were a little bit annoying. You do get used to them, but I tend to go to the end of my grip of my club, and that little bit at the end is kind of, you can feel that it's not attached to the grip itself. But you know, it depends whether you're a player like Tommy Fleetwood and grip down the club, or whether you hang off the end. Is depending on whether it affects you. Having said that, they've just brought out the grips with them integrated in, which is another great kind of service. They've obviously listened to their customers and put it right straight away. So once you're off and running, you just play golf. You just go out and play golf, and it just takes care of everything for you. You do come back in and make a few little edits where the pins were and various things, and sometimes it might have a little head fit, but I mean, I've had it maybe once or twice in maybe 20 rounds, so it really is quite reliable, so that's really good. You don't have to synchronize or upload or connect anything to necessarily to your computer or even to the internet, because it all does that for you, which is great. So as far as using the system, I just can't really knock it. You just go out and play and just forget about it. Once you've finished your round, all the information is uploaded to a cloud-based area, and that can all be accessed by anybody, really. You can send it to your professional, your coach, or maybe you can show off to your buddies how far you hit a particular drive or how low your round was. So it's a nice thing also to connect. So your pro can work on your game, and also with your various groups of friends, you can connect with them together, and then you can see all their rounds and how they're doing and what they're doing. And so that's quite nice as well. And you can also see other players. Maybe you're off 15 and you want to see how another 15 handicapper does it, or maybe you'd like to see how a 10 handicapper does it. So you can connect with these people as well to see what their stats are, and you can compare yourself. So if you're like a 20 handicapper, it's quite nice to see what another 20 handicapper would be doing, and you can see your strengths and weaknesses and try and improve on that. So that's a really nice community-based area within the Arccos system. So this new Caddy 2.0, it's a brand new thing that they've brought out, and it's incredibly good. It's very intelligent. They've collaborated with Microsoft. So you can imagine, as a company, Arccos must, that's an incredible. If you're going to work on some tech development, who else would you want to go for? Microsoft probably has the biggest workforce, out there at the moment, and some of the greatest minds. So.
In partnership with Microsoft, we've created Arccos Caddy, which is really golf's first AI caddy. It's sensors that get inserted into the grip end of each club, pair it with your smartphone, and then you're off to the races. And we saw the power of it, and I think Microsoft also saw we have such a huge data set. There's awesome things that can happen in the future. We were like, okay, let's get in there and revolutionize the sport through data.
And give our users exactly what they want, which is, I'm standing here, what shot should I hit?
So those guys are working together, which is really good. It does mean that they're zooming on. I've seen a lot of improvements from the first one to the second one, and this caddy thing is very good. It's always taking information from every round and every shot you hit under every circumstances, and put them together to help make you choose what to do on a golf hole. So let's just say you've got a par 5, and it's a possible 2-shot par 5, but there's some water somewhere perhaps. It will work out whether you should hit, say, a driver off the tee and then leave yourself a 3-wood in. Let's just say that's one option. The other one is it might work out that you actually hit your 2-iron really well, and you hit your 8-iron really well. So, and it will leave you in a wedge from, say, 120 yards, and that is the best play for you because your wedge play is good. And there's a much better chance of you making a birdie doing it that way than it would be taking a driver off the tee, which might go into the trees, and then trying to hit a flush 3-wood off the fairway to hit the green, to leave yourself 2 putts. Maybe your putting's not very good, so from 20 feet or 30 or 40 feet. So it takes all this information from your game under real circumstances and helps you plot out that hole. You can take it or leave it. You can decide whether you want to go for it or not for the fun of it. But it's good to look down and see these different stats. Why do we want to leave ourselves a 4-iron into a hole when we could have hit a different shot off the tee, leaving us our strongest club in? Or maybe with our 4-iron off the tee, maybe that's the club that would hit the fairway every single time, and then would hit an 8-iron, which is our next best club, which then leaves us, a sort of 9-iron in, and that is the best club out of the bag also for you. So it helps you manage each of these holes, even when you're playing away, which I found really good, is to have a quick look at various holes, especially if you're practice rounds, preparing for a tournament, or even if you're with your friends. You can see roughly what's the best way to play every hole, taking everything into account. I think one of the fun aspects of it as well. So let's say you've got your 10 rounds in, and it's got all the information, so it knows all about you under all these different situations and conditions. It knows your game basically. So you're watching TV one night and the golf's on. Let's just say you're watching the Masters. Could be any tournament. And you stood there watching the guys on the 12th, the tricky par 3 over the water. And you can just go in and you can go to Augusta. It's all there mapped out. So many courses are mapped out, all the tournament courses, and your course, I'm sure, as well. You just tap on that hole and it takes you there, and you tap on the caddy, and the caddy will tell you on that day, at that second, with those wind conditions, what you should hit and what score you probably will get. So where you will probably hit it and what your average score would be on that hole. Which I think is great fun, you know, when you're sat, it adds another dimension to golf. You can sit there and you notice Tiger Woods hitting a 4-iron, you know, into the 13th or something. You can just go to exactly that spot and it will tell you you should be hitting a 3-wood or something. It's just good fun to look at those various things. And I do it quite a bit just for, you know, just to add another dimension to watching golf. But that is a great fun feature. Put yourself in that shoe and your caddy will tell you what you're going to hit at that time. Perfect. I think one of the key features for me, which I found really interesting, was the weather app that they've like their weather engine that they use, which is just a fantastic thing to use. You can get your shot, and it will tell you exactly what that shot is gonna play like, and it's a good feature. So it works out the drop in, say, going uphill or downhill. So that's the first thing it works out, and then it works out with the wind on that day at that time as you're about to hit your shot. So that's great fun. Some of these modes you can't use in tournaments, but it's a really good way of getting used to seeing how the wind affects your ball. And I found it really fun, good, really useful. And sometimes you get on holes where you really can't feel any wind, but above the trees it's really going on, and you can see those wind patterns on the actual app itself, and it'll work out the club accordingly, which is really good fun. So the other section that you've got on it, which is quite good. I mean, I've always used a laser yardage Bushnell thing, which is amazing, obviously, when you can see the flag. But sometimes you've got a bunker out there, or you've got some trees out there, and you don't really know what it is. There are other apps that do this feature, but I just think it's quite nice to just drag your finger up and find out exactly how far that tree is away. Then the caddy will work out what club you're going to hit to get past that tree or round it, or if you can carry it. And that's a nice feature as well, because sometimes you've got a blind shot, and you can't laser the flag because it's blind or it's a big dog leg. And so this is better than a laser in those points. I think it's good to use the conjunction of the two. You know, if you get up close, laser's great because you get exact yardages to the flag. Whereas this, you're more sort of picking spots because it's quite hard to see where the flag is on the green if it's a long way away, etc. But it's absolutely vital to have those things when you're playing away, so you can find out where the dog legs are, you know, what bunkers are to carry, and if you can carry them, because you might put your finger on a bunker and the thing will say, no, that's out of your range, you're not going to get over there. So that's really good as well. So the system kind of gives you a handicap based upon how you're playing every part of your game. So you might be very good off the tee, and looking at the statistics, it'll work out that, let's just say that you're a 5 handicapper off the tee, but you're a 25 handicapper from the middle of the fairway with a 5-iron, and your approach shots. So it'll work out very clearly what you need to improve, and the parts of the game which is good. I mean, we want to improve everything all the time, obviously, but if you're going to the range and you're just up there hitting drivers all day long, it might work out that you don't necessarily need to. You should focus to actually play better golf and get better scores. You should focus more on maybe your wedge play, and it will tell you maybe your chip shots, maybe your putting. So it's really good at actually highlighting that, because your professional wouldn't tell you that. Your professional would look at your swing and try and make sure your technique's good, but he wouldn't say, "Paul, your 8-irons, you've not hit a green with an 8-iron for 3 weeks." You know, and that's the kind of area where you would need to work. And so, you know, that's a nice aspect of this. It's kind of feeding you the information for you to learn and become a better golfer. So I think Arccos itself is for me the best system out there. But I think it's really crucial that anybody who wishes to improve at golf should get a system or a way of doing this. Now, it could be you pacing out and writing down on a piece of paper, but I guarantee no one's going to keep that going, especially under tournament conditions. And sometimes that's the area where we need to know exactly what we're doing under those kind of tight conditions, where we don't think quite so clear. And so I think this is the best system for it. The game golf system is good. There are other systems as well out there. But for me, this one so far has been by quite a way the best system. Collecting the data, the ease of collecting the data, because I can't be bothered with writing stuff down and bleeping things. I just want to get on, play golf, and then come back in and sit down and have a look at the round. And that's good fun as well. You know, you can look and see, you know, you've hit this tee shot 300 yards or whatever it might be, and it's quite nice to see, kind of give yourself some positives on the way around. So that's a really good part about it as well, and I think everybody needs to get some sort of system. If you want a system like this, I'll do a link below for you to go and check out some prices, or just look around and get it. Any questions you want to ask me, please just feel free. Ask away. I feel like I know quite a lot about it now. And I have access to the guys who know even more about it than I do. So I'm sure any questions you ask, I'll be able to answer. Well, thanks for watching the video. I did waffle on a little bit, but hopefully it wasn't too bad. Please go to the channel and look at my other videos. I've done lots of different interviews, and there's some course vlogs, and I've also done some tutorials. If you're enjoying it, please give it a subscribe, which makes me want to go out and make more videos for you guys. I'm giving away this game golf system, and also I'm giving away a new Arccos system over on my Twitter account, which is SJ Carter Smith. So please give that a follow. Go over there and see what it is to enter. It should be a really good odds in your favour, because the channel's only got about 60 followers. So you've got a very good chance of winning it if you have a go for it. So look forward to seeing you next week. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you then.